Donovan Mitchell, he is likely to be traded from the Utah Jazz. There's many rumors and speculations on where he could go. What place and destination would suit Donovan Mitchell best? The New York Knicks seem to be the one making the most headlines, making the most headway. Donovan Mitchell wants to go to New York, big market, all of that stuff. It looks good for him and his brand, his future, things along those lines. He gets to go play with Jalen Brunson, although I don't think that it makes a lot of sense for him to go to the New York Knicks. I don't really understand why New York wants him when you have Jalen Brunson. I think that arguably that's one of the worst backcourts in arguably NBA history as far as defense goes. Scoring-wise, they would be fantastic. But outside of that, I just don't think there's much. But a team like Miami, I think, makes a lot of sense for Donovan Mitchell, right? You go to a place, they have the wings, they have the defense, they have everything. They just need another scoring option. They don't really have that go-to scoring threat. Jimmy Butler is a guy that we've seen can put up, 40, 50 points if need be, but he's not a scorer. Like, he does it just out of pure will and force and determination. Like, was really impressive and almost single-handedly took the Miami Heat to the NBA Finals. Like, that was an impressive run by Jimmy Butler, but he needs some help offensively. He needs somebody that can go and get, a consistent, 25 to 30 night in and night out. And Donovan Mitchell is that guy. He's proven he could be that guy. He's been in playoff spots. He's gone toe-to-toe with some of the best in the league. Like, he's a proven commodity in that sense. So it's like, okay, like if we could get Donovan Mitchell, that would solve all our problems. What other destination would fit Donovan Mitchell perfectly and allow him to just be in that scoring role? Because ultimately, that's what he needs. He needs a spot where he doesn't have to do anything but really score, because the big issue with him in Utah is he has to do everything. He has to score, he has to facilitate, he has to defend, and we've seen a lot of the other areas really lack because it is exhausting for a guy to go get 25. Now, when you're a guy that's undersized at 6'1" and is banging down low with the big guys and need to go get 25, that can be very tiring. But if he's on a team where it's just like, hey, we just need you to score, like just be you, go out there, get your 20 a game, perfect. Another team that immediately comes to mind is the Philadelphia 76ers. I mean, think about it. James Harden, Joel Embiid, and Donovan Mitchell would be quite the trio. James Harden, there's a lot of questions with him, like can he still be that go-to scorer guy? Not just that, but he's had a lot of concerns and a not so great playoff history as far as showing up, right? That's always been his biggest knock. He disappears in the playoffs, he disappears in the big moments. So if you were to go get a guy like Donovan Mitchell and James Harden could just be like the point guard facilitator, the guy that just goes and gets that triple dub, you don't need to give me 30 a night anymore, Harden. Just go get me 15 to 20 a night, dish out, 10 to 15 assists, go get me a couple rebounds, and that's perfect. And then you got a guy in Donovan Mitchell where it's like, all you need to do is just go score. James Harden's going to handle the point guard duties. He's going to be the point guard. You get to be the shooting guard, and I just need you to go get me 25 a night. Go do that. And then you got Joel Embiid, who, is a monster. A guy that will easily get you 30 points a game, night in and night out. I just think offensively, they would have a tremendous team. Not just that, but Donovan Mitchell's defense might pick up, because people forget Donovan Mitchell came into the league as a defensive-minded guard. Like, he was known for his defense, but he ended up going to a team where he needed to be the primary scorer. He needed to be the guy to go get 30 and facilitate and everything else, and it became too much. You can't ask for him at 6'1" to guard the best player on the other team and go get 30 points night in and night out. But I don't think he's ever going to be a lockdown defender, but he could be a serviceable one, right? He could be a guy that actually puts in the work, and you have a guy like James Harden, you have a guy like Joel Embiid, and now you might be thinking, yeah, but James Harden and Donovan Mitchell, isn't that the same backcourt as, Jalen Brunson and Donovan Mitchell? To a degree, but do we think that Jalen Brunson is better than James Harden? Because I don't. Even a 70% James Harden, I think, is better than Jalen Brunson. So it's worth that risk. Not just that, but you have the big fella in Joel Embiid down low to make up for the slack, where you don't have that really in New York. Not to the level that Joel is. And you still have the wings and stuff like that. You have Thibault and guys that could, guard the opposing team's best offensive player, stuff like that. I think that this would be worth the risk. You're going to be a team that puts up, 120 to 130 points night in and night out. I think that they would be a legit contender. I mean, if James Harden and Joel Embiid are a contender now, or at least in the conversation, what are they with Donovan Mitchell? I think they are a bona fide contender. I think Donovan Mitchell would be a perfect fit for this team. He could just be Donovan Mitchell. He could just be that go-to scorer. Just go get me points night in and night out. James Harden, if he misses time, right? Donovan Mitchell could be the guy. You still always have that guy that could be on the court. But what would the trade look like, though, right? Because it's like, well, what does Philly have to give up? Because Philly doesn't have a lot of draft picks. They don't really have much as far as draft picks goes. Well, you're looking at a package of Tyrese Maxey, and you move off of Tobias Harris's contract. That is a huge win for Philly. Because one, you're getting off of the Tobias Harris contract, which they want to do. And two, yes, Maxey is great. He had a tremendous season last season. But he's young. There's a lot of questions. Will he be that consistent guy? And he's, at best case scenario, likely a Donovan Mitchell-esque. Maybe he's a little better. Maybe he's slightly better. Something along those lines. But you get the proven commodity now. You don't have to wait 5 years for Tyrese Maxey to reach his height, to reach his potential. You got a guy already in Donovan Mitchell. So you're likely looking at a package centered around these two. Maybe you give up a little thing here and there. But for the most part, this is what it is. And the whole logic in the trade is, hey, you know, you're not getting a bunch of draft picks, but you're getting a young, solid guy that proved that he could score 20 a game that you could build around in Tyrese Maxey, and you're getting Tobias Harris so you can remain competitive, or you could flip Harris for, more draft picks, whatever you want to do. There's other options. It's something that I think could really fit and work for both sides. You get a young, up-and-coming, semi-proven talent, right? It's only one season. You don't want to buy too much into it because we've seen a lot of players have tremendous seasons and then they just never reach up to that potential again. Or if you really want, take Tyrese Maxey and you could flip him to a team like New York, right? Like let's say New York, you go to New York, you say, hey, look, we're going to end up trading Tyrese Maxey. We're going to end up getting Tyrese Maxey and getting Donovan Mitchell. You can't get Mitchell, but you want Tyrese Maxey. What is that worth? Is that worth, 3 first-round draft picks? If you're the Knicks, and then you do a swap and you get that. There you go. And you might be thinking, well, then why are they moving off of Donovan Mitchell? They could get more for there. Well, I mean, you're probably going to get other assets from Philly. Maybe you can get a Thibault in the deal. So, you have him, a defensive guy, still young, something like that. You go get more draft picks. Plus, Utah seems to want draft picks. But ideally, the grand prize is Maxey. You're getting Maxey, a young guy who could be, your new Donovan Mitchell replacement. He put up 20 points a game as, the second or third option. Imagine what he could do as the first option, that kind of thing. And so I think that this would make sense for both sides. And then if you're Philly, I mean, you're getting a proven, commodity. I think Donovan Mitchell is good. I don't think he's great. But I think in the right fit, he could be great because I don't think he's your number one guy. But if he goes to Philly, he's your number 2 or maybe even 3 guy. I think that is a home run. If Donovan Mitchell is your second or third best player on the team, you're probably winning a championship. I just don't think he's the guy. I don't think he's the best player on a championship team. I think he's the second or third best player. Philly, he would be that. He would be your second or third best player on the team. And you have insurance for Harden if Harden doesn't turn out to be Harden from, the Rockets, right? Because that's the big question. Will he be able to bounce back? Will he be the James Harden we know and love? If he's not, it'd be hugely beneficial to have a guy in Donovan Mitchell. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. This is just a thought. I'm not saying it will happen. I'm not saying that it should happen. I just think it would be something for Philly to at least look at. You get a young talent, a proven talent. Instead of you having to try to strike gold in the draft, you already got a bunch of draft picks from Minnesota. You're probably going to get some other, draft picks and things like that from all the other guys you have. Let's work this out, let's go get a deal. Maybe you can even work it out to where you get, Bohan, and throw in Thibault or something like that if you're the Sixers. And now you got Donovan and you got Bohan. That's a good position to be in if you're the Sixers. And, I just think it would be hugely beneficial for the Sixers. The Jazz, you could argue maybe a little questionable, but I just don't think Donovan Mitchell is going to get a massive return. I think that the Rudy trade was just, it was blind robbery. It was insane what they gave up for him. And now the demand, like the asking price obviously goes up because of that. But I just, like, Donovan Mitchell is good, not great. Like, and I think most teams know he's not going to lead us to a championship. But if he's on a team like Miami, where you have Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo, all right, maybe now we're talking. He's our second or third best player. Cool. You know, a team like Philly, second or third best player. Cool. You know, I just think that that's what needs to happen for Donovan Mitchell. He gets to go to Philly, likely win a championship, you know, elevates his legacy and stuff like that. Utah, they get a nice young piece to build around, you know, Tobias Harris to kind of keep him relevant for a little bit. And, you know, you see what you could do, see what you could get. But anyway, again, love to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. One last little shameless plug is I did start As It Stands Lakers. It is a channel just like this, dedicated to only the Lakers, because the Lakers are my favorite team. And on this channel, As It Stands, I talk about all teams, all sports, stuff like that. We have football season coming up, so I'm definitely looking forward to that as well. And I just wanted to make a dedicated channel to the Lakers to give the ins and outs. Now, all the big stuff, all the big news and stuff, I will still post here on this channel. But if you want all the ins and outs and just rumors and theories and just discussions just strictly on the Lakers, link down in the description or in the comment section. Go check out the channel, subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. That being said, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification. Stay up to date with all things sports. Join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.